Hey makers, it's Bree here at Minerva. Today I am really excited to share all about my favorite indie pattern designer. Now, I love indie pattern companies, but Chalk and Notch really takes the cake for me for several reasons, which I will get into in this video. I will also share my top 5 Chalk and Notch patterns, as well as some fabric recommendations for some fun project inspiration. Chalk and Notch released their first women's pattern back in 2017, and since then they've really established themselves as a trend-forward, quality pattern company with beautiful designs, expert drafting, and thorough, easy-to-follow instructions. In terms of aesthetics and pattern designs, I think Chalk and Notch really finds a great balance between like your trending pieces, your wardrobe builders, as well as timeless classics. I love how thoughtful and streamlined their designs are. Like, I think the Wren blouse and the Evelyn skirt are really great examples of this. So both views of the blouse have this really iconic lantern sleeve that's really beautiful. The Evelyn skirt has this side button front as well as like a faced slit. They're super gorgeous and like you instantly know what it is. I love the personality of each piece. I also really love the sizing for Chalk and Notch. It's really inclusive. All of their patterns come in US size 0 to 30, so that is hips 35 to 59 inches. Tops and dresses also come with 2 bust fit options, which I very much appreciate. I hate doing full bust adjustments. They are like the bane of my sewing existence. So I really love that the pattern has that all in there, ready to go. The shapes and the styles of the Chalk and Notch collection are fantastic, but more than that, I really love the sewing process with Chalk and Notch patterns. There's so many details that make them really enjoyable to sew. So the pattern pieces themselves have a lot of information. They are really detailed. I love that they don't assume that you know certain things. Everything is really like all laid out for you. It's really, really great. And then the instructions are some of my favorite in the whole sewing community. I always learn something new from their construction. They love to include like industry or couture methods, but everything is explained really well to where it feels like it's coming really easily. So rather than shying away from these professional techniques, they break them down into nice bite-sized pieces with lots of clear diagrams and illustrations. So if you haven't tried Chalk and Notch patterns, I highly recommend it. In fact, I really can't recommend them enough. I love these patterns. They are such fun to sew. I always learn something new. They're great skill builders. You should definitely check out the whole range. You can either search Chalk and Notch to see all the patterns available here on Minerva, or for some maker inspiration, you can search hashtag Chalk and Notch patterns to see photos, reviews, tips, and hacks from other sewists. So now that I have like gushed on enough about how much I love this pattern company, let's get into my 5 favorite Chalk and Notch patterns. First up is the Wren blouse and dress. It may not come as a surprise that this is one of my all-time favorite patterns. I love it so much. I think I have made like 5 or 6 between like the blouse and the dress. It's actually what I'm wearing right now. Although this is kind of a hack, maybe hack is a strong word. It's the long sleeve view, but I left off the lantern and the cuff pieces, just hemmed it up with some elastic. But hack or not, it is one of my favorite tops, so I thought I would show it off since I knew I would be talking about the Wren pattern today. So the Wren is a scoop neck bodice with bust darts and optional back fisheye darts for shaping. The blouse version hits mid-hip and the dress version features a dropped waist with a gathered panel. So it's kind of like a little nod to 20s, 30s vintage, but still feels really cool and modern. The main star of the Wren show, though, has to be the sleeves. The short puff sleeve has lots of extra volume, partially from like the gathered sleeve head, but then also the round lantern seam here. The long sleeve has a bit less volume through the shoulder and the arm, but again hits with this really nice like balloony bishop lantern sleeve and then into a traditional cuff. The Ren sleeve is rated intermediate. The short sleeve construction is pretty straightforward, but the cuff construction of the long sleeve view requires a bit more patience. But like I said, the instructions break down everything really well. There's even a full video sew along from Chalk and Notch that you can find here on Minerva on the Ren product page. For fabrics for the Ren, you'll want to stick with lightweight wovens like cotton lawn, voile, shirting, or chambray. Lightweight linens are also great. And for a softer, drapier look, fabrics like viscose, tencel, and silk will work nicely. So I picked this really lovely light tuft cotton Swiss dot from the Minerva Core range. It is so sweet and just floaty. This fabric comes in lots of different colors. This is the dark sage colorway. I think it's this really pretty, like kind of pond green. I really love the Swiss dot. I think it gives so much depth and personality. It is such a great texture. And even though it is lightweight, it still holds its structure a little bit. So I think that's really perfect for the lantern sleeve, especially in that like short puffed version. Now it is a little bit sheer. So if you are making the dress version, you might consider lining it, but I think it is really perfect for a Ren blouse. Next up is a firm favorite in the sewing community. This is the Fringe dress and top. Both the dress and the top have a gathered waist with optional ties and this really nice and deep curve at the hem. The bodice has cut-on elbow-length sleeves with a cuff, as well as an optional tab and a cute little button at the shoulder to bring them up for kind of a different look. There are bust and waist darts for shaping, but the silhouette is generally like pretty skimming and a little bit looser. There's two neckline variations, so you have a V-neck with a short 3-button placket, or a more unique V with this kind of notched front neckline. The fringe is rated intermediate. There's a lot of sweet details to kind of sink your teeth into, like all of the top stitch facings, the button tabs. I would say the only real tricky bit here is that narrowed curved hem on the skirt, but that's really just a matter of practice. Again, the instructions break everything down and illustrate the whole construction really well. For fabrics, for the fringe dress and blouse, most light to medium weight wovens are going to work really nicely, but you can play with what sort of vibe you're going for. So you got these grown on sleeves and the gathered skirt. So structured wovens like cotton and linen are going to have a more architectural, voluminous look, whereas fluid fabrics like viscose and tencel will have kind of a softer effect. So I have picked out this glorious Minerva exclusive viscose challis. This is the print Celestial Motion. So it is 100% viscose. It is super like light and airy. There's lots of fluidity, and I just think that the print is so pretty. So you have these like different abstract designs going on with like dots and veins, and then of course these gorgeous moon shapes throughout. I think the colors are just divine. You've got this like bright yellow green and some lilac against the dark purple, kind of this like sprucey green and the navy background. I think it is a really like cool modern design that fits the style of the fringe dress really, really well. We have another dress and top combo here with the Waterfall raglan. So the Waterfall is a swingy tee and dress made for knit fabrics. It comes as a cropped t-shirt, a full-length top with a ruffle hem, or a dress with a ruffle bottom panel. The body has an A-line kind of swing shape to it, and the raglan sleeves come in short and full lengths. So it's fitted through like the chest and the sleeve, but then as it comes down, it flares out this like comfy, cool, loose-fitting dress through the hips and the waist. The crew neck is finished with a stretched in neckband. So I really like how it's a very simple shape, but it is really effective. You can kind of lean into that relaxed shape, or you can dress it up with the ruffle. I think it's a really great top to kind of mix and match into your wardrobe, or you can go for a really fun secret pajama type dress for going out. So the Waterfall raglan is a beginner pattern. The construction is really simple. I find sewing those raglan seams really, really satisfying. So for fabrics, you will want knits with at least 70% horizontal stretch. So that's pretty much most jerseys, cotton jersey, viscose, tencel. Those will all work really nicely. Another one you could try is like an ITY or a double brushed poly. So my preference for the Waterfall raglan is like a drapey jersey from like viscose or tencel. It kind of plays up that swing shape, but I think a cropped version in the cotton jersey would be really cute too. According to the pattern, you can use knits with slightly lower stretch percentage, but you just want to be sure to use a ribbing for the neckband to make sure that it can stretch and recover as it goes on and off your head. For the Waterfall raglan, I have grabbed my favorite jersey. So this is the Minerva Core Range bamboo cotton jersey. This is the color steel blue. So this one is 68% bamboo, 28% cotton, and 4% elastane. So because it is primarily bamboo, which is a type of viscose, it has a lot of really nice drape. It has great recovery. The cotton content gives it just a little bit of body as well as extra durability and opacity. So when I say that it's my favorite jersey, I probably have about a dozen garments, either dresses or t-shirts, sewn up in I've got the dark green, I have the purple, I have a whole bunch of the colorways. I think it washes and wears really, really well. It feels super good on the skin. But beyond my personal bias and my love for this fabric, I think the drape as well as the weight will make it a really great option for the Waterfall raglan. Next we have the Orchid midi dress. I'm pretty sure this was the pattern that put Chalk and Notch on the Indie Pattern Company map. It is a really great balance of modern and classic styles, and the construction is super satisfying. So the Orchid is a wrap bodice with a midi length skirt and lots of really cool details. So the bodice features a yoke with gathering at the high bust for shaping, though the CD cup option also has bust darts for an extra good fit. You can go for the long bishop style sleeves or for a sweet flouncy short butterfly sleeve. The waist has an elasticated drawstring that really evens out the gathers at the back and then ties at the front. I really like the slash pockets on the skirt, but my favorite feature has to be that front split of the skirt with the deep hem and the mitered corners. The design feels really classic and romantic with that gathered wrap bodice, but then the modern shape of the skirt feels really cool and balanced. So depending on the fabric that you use, you can really lean in to the romantic date night vibes, or you can go for something really chic and contemporary. So the Orchid is another intermediate pattern. There's lots of details to keep track of, but the finishing in this pattern is so, so good. I love doing that mitered hem. It feels super professional, and the bodice construction combines a binding at the front as well as a double back yoke. So this was the first pattern that I did the burrito method, and I was really intimidated, but the instructions are just so good. I couldn't fully wrap my mind around what I was doing, but I was just able to trust the instructions, and then the burrito magic happens. It's really great. And now I love doing a burrito, and I often I'll return to the Orchid instructions because they are so, so good. So the Orchid dress calls for light to medium weight woven fabrics with some drape. So cotton lawn, chambray, and linen are really great kind of more mid-bodied options. And then fabrics like viscose, crepe, and tencel will make a more floatier, lovely Orchid dress. So I decided to really lean into that romantic vibe of the pattern. So I have picked the Minerva exclusive viscose challis. This print is called Boudoir Bouquet. So again, it's 100% viscose, and it's got this really lovely dark petrol background. And then the flowers have this kind of watercolor effect. It's almost like an ombre situation. Like it goes from magenta to maroon to this dark purple. These colors like have a lot of movement. There's nothing like sparkly, but it has kind of like an iridescent vibe from that watercolor motion there. I think it is so, so pretty, and I think the weight and drape of this fabric will make a really, really beautiful orchid midi dress. The last pattern I have to share today is the Evelyn skirt. So I really, really love this pattern. It is a split front skirt with 3 variations. So you can choose between a fitted skirt with a button-down placket or a more relaxed like pull-on skirt that has an elasticated back waistband. The button front views come in either midi length with a thigh split or as a short and sweet mini skirt. Both are fitted through the waist and the hips. The midi version, either the fitted or the elastic waist views, come with a really nice thigh slit that has a good deep facing. All views have a curved waistband, which is really helpful for getting a great fit. The Evelyn skirt is a beginner pattern. I love that they don't assume that you would know how to do things like trim down an inner waistband or making the lining pieces fit a little differently. They offer separate pattern pieces for each so everything fits in really nicely. Again, they don't take shortcuts to make the pattern like simpler, but instead they break down each step so you still get that professional finish, but it like feels easy to sew. So fabric options are going to depend a little bit on which view you're making. So drapier wovens like viscose, crepe, and tencel are going to work for all the versions. Heavier or stiffer fabrics like linen, denim, or cotton twill are really great for that like fitted button front version. They'll hold their shape really well and you'll get a really nice like architectural vibe from the skirt. You just wouldn't want to use a heavier fabric if you're doing the elastic back version because that waistband can get a little bit bulky. Now I really love that fitted button front midi version, so I have picked a very beautiful and very heavy linen. So this is the Minerva Core Range Heavy Stone Washed 100% linen. The texture of this fabric is just like my favorite thing in the world. As it says in the name, it is quite heavy, but it still has a lot of drape, which means a lot of movement. I think it is really, really great for sewing bottoms and especially skirts. I think like the drape and the movement is really good for when you want some fluidity there. So this is the lavender colorway, but it comes in over 15 colors. I actually have a dress that I made out of the teal colorway and I love it. The texture is just like, it's so, so gorgeous, but it feels really, really good on the skin. It is super lush. And I think like that combination of structure, the weight, and the drape are going to make a really, really nice chalk and notch Evelyn skirt. So those are my 5 favorite patterns from Chalk and Notch. As I have said, I really can't recommend their patterns enough. Their whole range is full of cool design features, satisfying construction techniques. I really hope you'll check them out. All of the patterns, of course, and the fabrics are linked below. And if there was something that caught your eye today and you want to save 10%, you should definitely check out the Minerva Craft Club. You can sign up and save 10% on every Minerva order for the whole year. So I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am and ready to get sewing. I'm super excited about these projects. If you have any questions, of course, let us know in the comments. We would love to help you out, offer recommendations. That's all from me today, but stay tuned because we have got new videos coming your way every day. So until next time, happy making. Bye!